What if I told you that one single night could change your entire life? Not just a small improvement, not just a moment of clarity, but a complete and undeniable transformation, spiritually, mentally, physically, and even financially. Imagine going to bed as the person you've always known yourself to be, and waking up to a reality where everything has shifted, where the struggles that once weighed you down are gone. The doors that once seemed locked are suddenly open, and you no longer recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror. If you're here, this is not a coincidence. Something greater has led you to this moment, and whether you realize it or not, you are standing at the edge of a powerful transformation. But here's the truth. This shift is not for everyone. It is reserved for the chosen ones, the 1% who have endured, who have struggled, who have been tested, and yet never lost faith. If you feel something stirring deep within you as you hear these words, that's because your spirit already knows your time is coming. For too long, you've carried burdens that were never meant to define you. You've faced setbacks, betrayal, loneliness, financial struggles, and moments where you questioned whether things would ever change. But transformation doesn't come in the way we expect. It happens in an instant. One night is all it takes. The energy around you is shifting, the universe is aligning, and soon you will step into a reality that feels almost too good to be true. Your appearance will glow with vitality. Your strength, both physical and mental, will be undeniable, and the world will begin to see you in a completely new light. Where you were once overlooked, you will now command attention without even trying. The very energy you carry will magnetize opportunities, wealth, and the right people into your life. You won't have to chase what is meant for you. It will come to you effortlessly. But here's the key. You have to be ready. Not everyone will make it through this transformation. Some will turn away, filled with doubt, unwilling to embrace the shift that is waiting for them. But those who hold on, those who recognize that this message is meant for them, will experience a breakthrough like never before. This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is your time. If you feel the energy of this transformation calling to you, don't ignore it. Let the universe know you are ready. Like this video, subscribe, and drop 99 in the comments as a sign that you are stepping into your divine destiny. Because when the moment arrives, and it will come sooner than you think, your life will never be the same again. There's something different about you, isn't there? You've always felt it. That quiet knowing inside you, the sense that you don't quite fit into the mold the world tries to place around you. Maybe you've been told you're too deep, too intense, too much. Maybe you've spent years questioning why you see things differently, why you feel things on a level that others don't seem to. But what if I told you that this feeling, this knowing, wasn't a mistake? What if I told you that you feel different because you are different, that you are among the few, the ones who are set apart, called to something greater, designed for a path that most people will never walk? Being chosen isn't about being better than anyone else. It's not about arrogance or superiority. It's about responsibility. It's about carrying a light within you that refuses to be dimmed, no matter how much the world tries to make you blend in. It's about sensing things before they happen, seeing through facades, and feeling a deep connection to something bigger than yourself. Whether you call it purpose, destiny, or divine guidance. From a young age, you knew you weren't like everyone else. While others were content with the surface level, you were drawn to the depths. You questioned things that others blindly accepted. You felt emotions so deeply that they often overwhelmed you. And maybe at times, you tried to silence that part of yourself, to fit in, to be normal. But no matter how hard you tried, something inside you wouldn't let you. Because chosen ones are never meant to fit in. They are meant to stand out. You've probably noticed that your journey has been anything but ordinary. While others seem to move through life effortlessly, you've faced obstacles that felt almost unbearable. It's as if every time you get close to a breakthrough, another challenge appears. But here's the truth. Chosen ones don't have easy paths. They are forged in fire. They are tested, shaped, and refined in ways that others will never understand. And that's because your calling is greater. You are being prepared for something bigger than you can even comprehend right now. The struggles, the loneliness, the moments where you questioned everything, they weren't punishments. They were lessons. They were the universe's way of making sure that when your moment comes, you will be ready. Chosen ones often feel an unshakable sense of purpose, even when they don't fully understand it. You might not know exactly what you're meant to do yet, but you know you are meant for more. You can't ignore it. The idea of an ordinary, uninspired life doesn't sit right with you. You crave meaning. You crave depth. You crave impact. And if you're listening to this right now, it's not by accident. Maybe this is the confirmation you've been waiting for. Maybe deep down, you've always known, but you needed to hear it from someone else. You are different for a reason. You were chosen. But here's the thing. Being chosen isn't enough. You have to accept it. You have to embrace it. You have to stop running from it. Because the moment you do, everything shifts. Doors that once seemed locked begin to open. People who are meant to walk this path with you start appearing. The weight of trying to be something you're not begins to lift. You have always been on the edge of transformation. That feeling inside you, the one that's been whispering that you are meant for more, it's not going away. It's only getting louder. And now, you have a choice. You can ignore it, push it down, convince yourself that you're just imagining things. Or you can step into it. You can own it. There comes a moment in life when everything changes. Not just on the surface, not just in small, gradual steps, but in a way so profound that you will wake up one day, look in the mirror, and barely recognize the person staring back at you. Your old self, the one tied to past fears, doubts, and limitations, will no longer exist. Because once a spiritual awakening begins, there is no going back. This is not just a shift in mindset. It's not just about thinking more positively or adopting new habits. This is a complete transformation, a rebirth from the inside out. It's an unraveling of everything you once believed, a shedding of old layers, a breaking away from the version of you that was built on survival, the conditioning, and fear. And while it may sound beautiful, and it is, it's also one of the most intense and challenging experiences a person can go through. At first, it feels like everything is falling apart. The things that once made sense no longer do. The people, places, and routines that once felt comfortable begin to feel foreign. Your old desires fade. Your old ambitions shift. Even your own thoughts begin to sound different. It's disorienting, almost as if you're living in a world that no longer fits as who you are becoming. This is the process of awakening. It strips away the illusions. It forces you to confront the truth, not just about the world, but about yourself, who you truly are beyond the expectations, beyond the labels, beyond the story you've been telling yourself for years. And yes, it can be painful, because growth always comes with discomfort. You may grieve your old self, the one who once found comfort in things that now feel empty. You may feel isolated, realizing that the people around you no longer resonate with who you are becoming. There will be moments of deep reflection, of solitude, of questioning everything. But then, something shifts. One day, you wake up, and the fear is gone. The confusion is replaced with clarity. The weight you've carried for so long suddenly feels lighter. Your energy is different. Your presence is stronger. You walk into rooms and people notice, not because of anything external, but because your spirit radiates something new. This is what happens when you awaken. Your aura shifts. Your energy realigns. Your mindset transforms. And it's not just about feeling different. It's about becoming who you were, always meant to be. The version of you that exists beyond doubt, beyond fear, beyond the expectations of others. The version of you that operates from a place of intuition, confidence, and deep spiritual connection. You will no longer crave validation because you will know your worth. You will no longer hold on to toxic relationships because you will understand your energy is sacred. You will no longer chase what was never meant for you because you will trust that what is truly yours will always find its way. And that's when life begins to unfold in ways you never imagined. The right people start appearing. The right opportunities find you effortlessly. Synchronicities become impossible to ignore. You no longer feel lost because you are the path. You no longer feel like something is missing because you are whole. This is the power of spiritual awakening. It is the moment when you stop existing and start living. When you stop searching outside of yourself for answers and realize they've been within you all along. When your old self dissolves and your true self emerges. And once that happens, once you fully embrace this transformation, nothing will ever be the same again. Because the version of you that was once trapped in doubt and fear, that version no longer exists. Something incredible happens when you undergo a true transformation, not just in your mind, not just in your soul, but in your body. You begin to radiate a different energy, an unspoken power that people can feel before you even say a word. It's as if the weight of the past, the heaviness of doubt and fear, is lifted, and in its place, something new emerges: strength, vitality, and an almost supernatural glow. This isn't just about feeling better, it's about being better, inside and out. When you align with your true path, when you shed the energy of the old you, your entire physical state shifts. Your posture changes, your skin glows, your eyes become brighter, sharper, more alive, and people notice. They may not be able to put it into words, but they feel it. They sense something different about you, something magnetic, something powerful. This is what happens when your spirit is in alignment. The stress that once drained you, the anxiety that weighed on your shoulders, the constant tension you carried, it all begins to disappear. And with it, your body heals. The exhaustion you once felt turns into energy. The dullness in your face transforms into radiance. The sluggishness that made every day feel like a battle is replaced with a drive, a fire, an unshakable presence. Look at those who have truly stepped into their calling, those who have embraced their divine transformation. They don't just move differently, they look different. There's something ageless about them, something timeless. It's not just about physical beauty. It's the kind of glow that comes from deep within. It's the result of no longer carrying the burdens that weren't meant for them. It's the result of peace, purpose, and inner alignment. And you may have already started noticing this in yourself. Maybe you're waking up with more energy than before. Maybe you're looking in the mirror and seeing something new, something stronger, something lighter. Maybe the things that used to drain you no longer have the same power over you. That's not a coincidence. That's the power of transformation working through you. When you step into who you were meant to be, your body responds. Your cells, your muscles, your very essence shifts to match the energy of your new reality. And this is just the beginning. Because when you fully embrace this transformation, when you stop resisting the growth, when you lean into the energy that's guiding you forward, you will not just look different. You will be different. And the world will see it. They will feel it. They will be drawn to it. Because radiance isn't something you buy. It's something you become. And once you do, nothing and no one will ever see you the same way again. One night, and the financial struggles you've known could disappear forever. Just like that, everything changes, not because of luck, not because of some random stroke of fortune, but because you have changed. When you step into divine transformation, when you align yourself with your higher calling, your financial reality shifts in ways that seem almost impossible to explain. For so long, you may have believed that wealth was something you had to chase, that success was reserved for a select few, that no matter how hard you worked, money always seemed to slip through your fingers. But that's because abundance isn't about working harder, it's about alignment. And once you step into alignment, everything begins to flow. Money isn't just numbers in a bank account. It's energy, it's movement. It's a direct reflection of the beliefs, vibrations, and frequency you carry. And when you transform, when you truly awaken, your energy shifts. You no longer think like someone who is struggling. You no longer act from a place of lack. You begin to embody abundance, not just in your thoughts, but in your presence. And suddenly, things start happening. The opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to appear. People start offering you chances you never expected. Unexpected sources of income begin to flow in. It's as if the universe had been waiting all along for you to realize that wealth was always yours to claim. That you were never meant to live in struggle. That the only thing standing between you and abundance was you. Look at the people who have experienced true transformation. They carry a different energy, a different confidence. They walk into rooms knowing their worth, and because they know it, the world reflects it back to them. Their presence commands opportunities. Their mindset attracts success. They don't beg for financial freedom, they embody it. And that is what happens when you shift. When you stop seeing money as something separate from you, something you have to fight for. When you start realizing that abundance is your natural state. That the universe, God, divine energy, whatever you call it, wants you to prosper. That struggle is not your destiny, and scarcity is not your story. You don't need to know exactly how it will happen. You don't need to have every detail figured out. You just need to trust, to believe, to step into the energy of someone who is already abundant, who already has everything they need. And when you do that, when you fully accept that reality, you'll look back one day, maybe sooner than you think, and wonder how you ever lived any other way. There will come a moment when you walk into a room and everything feels different. The way people look at you, the way they speak to you, the way they listen, really listen when you talk. It won't be because you've changed your style or suddenly become someone else. No, it will be because your energy has shifted. After divine transformation, you won't have to seek validation. You won't have to beg for respect. It will simply be given. Not because people suddenly decided you were worth noticing, but because you became someone they could no longer ignore. The world recognizes power. It recognizes presence. And when you step into your true self, when you stop dimming your light, when you fully own the person you were meant to be, You command attention without even trying. The people who once overlooked you will start watching. The ones who doubted you will start listening. And the ones who took you for granted will realize what they lost. You see, before your transformation, you may have spent years feeling invisible, feeling like your voice wasn't heard, like your presence didn't matter. You may have wondered why people didn't take you seriously, why they treated you as if you were just there instead of someone with purpose and power. But that was before. That was when you still carried the weight of self-doubt, of hesitation, of uncertainty. Now you radiate something different. There's a strength in you that wasn't there before. A clarity, a confidence that can't be faked, can't be copied, can't be ignored. You no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You no longer wait for permission to be who you are. And because of that, the world has to take notice. People may not even be able to explain it, but they feel it. The way you carry yourself, the way your words land with power, the way your silence, even in a crowded space, speaks louder than noise. You no longer blend in because you were never meant to. You were meant to lead, to influence, to shift the energy around you just by being. And the most powerful part, you won't even need to force it. When you transform, when you truly step into your divine calling, respect and influence become effortless. The right people will be drawn to you, not because you chased them, but because your presence demands it. The wrong people will fall away, not because you pushed them, but because your energy will no longer allow their presence. This is the moment when you stop being just another person in the crowd. This is when you become the one people look to, the one they remember, the one whose words and presence create ripples that last far beyond the moment. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. The world will see you differently now, and this time, they will never forget you. There will come a moment in your life when everything changes, not in small, gradual steps, but in a way that feels almost surreal, like watching the pieces of a puzzle finally snap together after years of frustration. It won't be because you pushed harder or tried to control every outcome. It will be because you surrendered to something greater than yourself, because you allowed the universe to work in ways you once resisted. For so long, you may have felt like you were constantly swimming against the current, trying to force things to happen on your timeline, struggling to make sense of why no matter how much effort you put in, things never seemed to go the way you planned. The frustration, the setbacks, the closed doors, it may have felt like life was working against you. But what if it was actually working for you all along? What if every delay, every rejection, every obstacle was never meant to stop you, but to redirect you towards something even greater? There's a shift that happens when you step into divine transformation. Suddenly, the things that once felt impossible start unfolding with ease. The struggle that once drained you no longer exists because you no longer operate from a place of resistance. Instead of chasing what was never meant for you, you find yourself walking effortlessly toward what has been waiting for you all along. Instead of begging for opportunities, you realize that the right ones appear naturally, at exactly the right time. Instead of trying to prove your worth, you simply become the person who attracts what is already yours. It's not magic, though to the outside world, it may seem like it. It's alignment. It's the universe finally responding to the energy you put out, the energy that says, I am ready, I trust, I receive. The things that once caused stress, money, relationships, opportunities, no longer feel like battles. The right people begin to enter your life, not through force or effort, but because your energy has shifted to attract them. The goals that once seemed out of reach start to materialize. because you are no longer sabotaging yourself with doubt and fear. And the most beautiful part? You won't even be able to explain how it happened. One day, you'll look back at the version of yourself who used to overthink, who used to worry, who used to try so hard to control everything, and you'll barely recognize them. Because you will have changed. Your energy will be different. The way you carry yourself, the way you move through the world, the way people respond to you. It will all be different. This is what happens when you stop resisting the flow of life, when you stop trying to control the outcome and instead trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You will begin to notice synchronicities, small signs from the universe guiding you, confirming that you are on the right path. You will find yourself in the right places at the right times, meeting the right people, receiving the right opportunities. You will feel lighter, as if the weight you've carried for years has suddenly been lifted. It won't always make logical sense, but that's the beauty of it. Divine timing doesn't operate on human logic. It operates on a higher intelligence, one that sees far beyond what you can see in this moment. And when you finally stop forcing, when you finally step into trust, that's when everything starts falling into place, effortlessly. You may have spent years feeling like you had to fight for everything, like nothing ever came easy, like the universe was making you work twice as hard just to get half as far. But what if that struggle wasn't a sign that you were failing? What if it was a sign that you were being prepared, that the delays were actually divine protection, that the setbacks were actually setting you up for something even greater than what you were asking for? Now you are stepping into a new reality, one where struggle is no longer your story, where abundance is not just something you dream about, but something you live, where love, success, opportunities, and peace flow to you naturally because you finally understand that they were never meant to be chased. They were always meant to find you. Before the blessing, there is always a test. Always. It's the universal law of transformation, the rite of passage that separates those who are truly ready from those who are not. This is why your journey hasn't been easy. This is why you've faced hardships that felt unbearable, betrayals that cut deep, loneliness that made you question if you were even on the right path. Because what's coming for you isn't ordinary, it's divine, and not everyone is built to receive it. The truth is, transformation isn't for everyone. Many people stay stuck in the same cycles their entire lives, afraid to change, unwilling to let go, terrified of stepping into the unknown. They settle for what's comfortable, even if it keeps them small. But you've been tested, pushed, shaken. Everything you thought was stable has been ripped away at some point. You've lost things, people, even parts of yourself. And it wasn't because you were being punished, it was because you were being prepared. Before every breakthrough, there is a breaking point. A moment when you are stripped of everything familiar, when the universe forces you to stand in front of a mirror and face your deepest fears. It feels unfair. It feels cruel. But what's really happening is a purification, a refining, a process designed to make sure that when your blessing arrives, you are ready for it. Because if you received everything you've ever wanted before you were prepared, you wouldn't be able to hold on to it. Think about it. The betrayals, the people who walked away, the ones who hurt you when you least expected it, weren't random. They were revelations. They were removing the wrong energy from your life before you stepped into your higher purpose. The loneliness, the isolation, that wasn't punishment. It was a call to go inward, to heal, to develop the strength to stand alone, so that when your time came, you wouldn't need validation from anyone else. And the hardships, the financial struggles, the emotional breakdowns, the moments when you felt like giving up, Those were tests of endurance. They were shaping your resilience, forcing you to find power within yourself instead of looking for it in external things. Because what's coming next requires a version of you that doesn't break under pressure. A version of you that doesn't question their worth. A version of you that knows, without a doubt, that they are destined for something greater. Not everyone is ready for this shift. Some will run from it. Some will reject it. Some will get stuck in the test, unable to push through to the other side. But if you're still here, if you're still fighting, if something deep inside you is telling you to hold on just a little longer, then you are one of the few who will make it. And when you do, your life will never be the same. The struggles you've known will become a distant memory. The pain you endured will turn into power. The obstacles that once seemed impossible will no longer exist. Because the test is not meant to break you. It's meant to prove that you are ready. And if you are, if you've endured, if you've learned, if you've refused to give up even when everything was against you, then get ready. Because the blessing is already on its way. There is a reason you feel different. A reason you've never quite fit in. A reason life has tested you in ways others around you haven't experienced. It's because you are the one chosen to break the cycle, the one destined to rise above the patterns of struggle, of pain, of limitation that have run through your bloodline for generations, the one who was sent here to be the answer to prayers whispered long before you were even born. Look back at your family, your parents, your grandparents, those who came before them. Look at the patterns that have repeated, the struggles that have been passed down like heirlooms, financial instability, broken relationships, unfulfilled dreams, unspoken pain. It's not coincidence. It's not just how things are. These are generational cycles, deeply embedded patterns that have kept your lineage bound in the same struggles, living out the same story on a different page. But then, you arrived, and something in you always felt off. Not in a bad way, but in a way that made you feel like you didn't quite belong to the script that had been written for you. While others accepted things as they were, you questioned them. While others followed the same paths that led to dead ends, you searched for something more. While others stayed comfortable in the struggle, you felt an unshakable pull towards something greater. That's because you weren't meant to repeat the cycle. You were meant to break it. You are the first in your family to think differently, to move differently, to want more. Not out of greed, but because deep down, you know that your story was never meant to end in struggle. You have dreams that no one before you had the courage to chase. You see possibilities that others never dared to believe in. And it's not random. It's not an accident. It's a divine assignment. Your ancestors, those who came before you, those who lived and fought and survived so that you could be here, they prayed for a change. They may not have had the tools, the knowledge, the strength to break free from the cycles they were born into, but they longed for something better. And now, here you are. You are the answer to that prayer. You are the breakthrough they never got to see. You are the living proof that the cycle ends here. But make no mistake, being chosen does not mean the journey is easy. In fact, it often means the opposite. The battles you have faced, the hardships you have endured, the moments where you felt completely alone, all of it was part of your preparation. Because breaking generational cycles is warfare. It is fighting against decades, even centuries, of conditioning, of habits, of beliefs that have been passed down through your lineage. It is standing up to the voices that say, "This is just how it is," and declaring, "Not anymore." And that kind of shift, it takes strength, it takes resilience, It takes someone willing to go through the fire, to break through the barriers, to endure the trials, not just for themselves, but for everyone who comes after them. Because this isn't just about you. This is about your children, your children's children, the generations that will come after you, who will never have to experience the same struggles you did, because you were the one who chose to break free. You will be the first in your family to create real wealth, the first to experience true peace, the first to love deeply and be loved without conditions, the first to walk in full alignment with your purpose, to know what it means to truly live instead of just survive. And because of that, the generations that follow you will never know the same pain, the same limitations, the same burdens. They will walk a different path because you cleared the way. You are not just one person making a change. You are a generational shift, a cycle breaker, a chosen one. And now, the time has come. The old ways are falling away. The patterns that once held your family back are losing their grip. The struggle stops here. The curse is broken. The chains have been shattered. Because you are not repeating history. You are rewriting it. And everything from this moment forward will never be the same. Something happens after the shift. Something almost indescribable. Life doesn't just feel different. It is different. The things that once stressed you no longer hold the same power. The doubts that used to haunt you begin to fade. The people who drained your energy, the situations that kept you stuck, the fears that controlled you, they all lose their grip because you are no longer the person you used to be. The transformation doesn't just change your mindset. It doesn't just give you a fresh perspective. It recreates you. It strips away every false identity you once carried. The one that told you to play small. The one that convinced you to stay quiet. The one that made you believe you weren't enough. That version of you, it's gone. And in its place is someone who walks with purpose, with certainty, with an unshakable knowing that they are here for something greater. And so, the question is, what comes next? This is where your life truly begins. Not the life dictated by fear, by other people's expectations, by the limitations you once believed in. No, this is the life you were meant to live. A life where every step is guided, where opportunities align effortlessly, where the right people come into your path, not because you chase them, but because they are drawn to your energy. A life where clarity replaces confusion, where purpose replaces uncertainty, where you wake up every morning knowing exactly why you're here. After the shift, you don't waste time on things that no longer serve you. You don't entertain drama. You don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You don't question whether or not you're on the right path. You know you are, and that knowing changes everything. People will see you differently. Some will admire you. Some will be intimidated by you. Some will no longer recognize you at all, because the old version of you, the one they were used to, is no longer here. But none of that will matter, because you will no longer seek validation. You will no longer live for approval. You will no longer wait for permission to step into your power. You are now walking in divine alignment. And when you do that, life unfolds in ways you never imagined. You will find yourself in places you never thought you'd reach, doing things you once believed were impossible. You will inspire others just by being who you are, just by standing in your truth. And the best part, this is only the beginning, because now you are unstoppable. Now you are limitless. Now you are everything you were always meant to be. And all it took was one night, one moment of surrender, one decision to stop resisting, one choice to finally step into your destiny. So are you ready? Are you ready for your night of transformation? Are you ready to let go of everything that's been holding you back? Are you ready to wake up tomorrow and realize that nothing will ever be the same? Because if you are, your time has come, and the shift you've been waiting for, it's already happening.